Welcome to my first look at the Daring. It is a legendary tier British destroyer. It is the latest addition to the Bureau, and we'll be checking out that Bureau project in a few seconds. But first up, the main guns are a pretty fast reloading main gun. The torpedoes can be fired sequentially, and a lot of people have called this ship the best legendary tier destroyer in the game at the moment. So before we check out the setup of the ship and the commander, let's take a look at that Bureau project. And we're in the Daring Bureau project. I haven't started it yet, but we can take a look at the segments here. And of note is segment 5 right here. And for this segment, you do need the Jervis. It is required to complete this segment. You need to win one battle either in standard or AI, and you'll progress to segment 6. And then the other requirement, sort of like a gotcha, is over here on segment 10. And that requirement is that you have the Lightning. So without the Lightning or the Jervis, you will not be able to complete the Daring Bureau project. So I just wanted to go over that and cover that real quick. Other than that, it is a normal Bureau project that you can boost through with doubloons or any other currency that is available during the individual segments. And with that, let's get into the setup of the ship and the commander, who is Reginald Tyrwitt. I have Tyrwitt instead of Vane because Tyrwitt is ranked up to 16.4. He is maxed out. His base trait is True Grit. Torpedo launcher reload time is improved, as is the steering gear impairment chance. And for inspirations, I have a double concealment inspiration of Eric Bay Shifty, improves the destroyer's detectability, and Deng Shishang, Quantum of Solace, also improves destroyer's detectability and improves the torpedo damage. So you get almost as much detectability improvement as with Swirsky, but you do get the torpedo damage improvement as well with Shishang. So this is my new double concealment setup for destroyers. And then we have a torpedo-centric setup here on the skills. Subsurface Venture is the first skill. Torpedo speed is improved, as is the launcher reload time, but the main battery does take a little bit of a hit on the reload. And Look at Me Now is the second skill. Detectability range by sea is improved, and this is the maximum detectability you will be able to get with this destroyer. And then the third skill is Perceptive. Incoming damage to your destroyer and torpedo detectability range is improved. And then the last skill is Smoke on the Water. Smokescreen dispersion time and deployment is improved by 8%. And then I have Smogathon selected here. Smoke generator cooldown time is improved by 50%, and you get 2 additional charges, but the deployment time is cut in half. And the special effect is the torpedo speed is improved by 10 knots when you're within 3.5 kilometers of an allied ship that is maxed out, as I said, at a legendary rank 4. And for the upgrades, we have Aiming Systems Mod 1, dispersion of the main battery is improved by 7%. Torpedo launcher traverse speed is improved by 20%. And then we have Steering Gears Mod 2, rudder shift time is improved by 20%. And then we have Concealment System Mod 1, detectability range is improved, as is its incoming fire dispersion. And then the last upgrade is the torpedo launchers. Reload time is improved by 15%. Risk of the torpedo launchers being incapacitated goes up to 50%, but that hasn't really been a problem in actual battle at this point. Loadout, normal ammunition, high explosive shells, armor piercing shells, and torpedoes, which we will get into in the stats. Consumables, damage control party, duration is 5 seconds, reloads every 38 seconds, and there's an unlimited number of those consumables. And then we have the smoke generator. You have 8 consumables here with this setup. Duration is 5.8 seconds. Smoke screen dispersion time is 43 seconds. Reloads every 28 seconds. And you have 8 of those consumables, so you can stay in the smoke for an extended period of time with the Smogathon here. That's what makes that happen. You can have like a 7-8 minute smoke screen time here, but in general that will never happen because at this height here you will have your concealment spoiled even while you're in the smoke with either sonar or a radar. And then the Daring does have a sonar here. Torpedo detectability is 2.5 kilometers. Ships are 3.5 kilometers. Duration is 180 seconds. Reloads every 114 seconds. And there are 3 of those sonar consumables. And then you have 2 repair party consumables. Partially restores the ship's HP by repairing any light damage at the rate of 207 hit points per second. Duration is 10 seconds. Reloads every 76 seconds. And there are 2 of those consumables. And here I've got these boosters, but this could change during a battle. The ship does not come with any camo, even though you see the permanent camo up there. It is not available in the store or to purchase. I don't believe. Yeah, you can purchase this, but if you want to see what it would look like if it were to be available, this is it. But instead of that, we have gone with the community contributor camo. Stats. Survivability hit points is 20,800. Armor is 6 to 20 millimeters. Do not get hit. Artillery. You have 6 guns. They reach out to 11.1 kilometers. Reload every 3.1 seconds, which is great. Traverse time is not a problem. It's 7.2 seconds. HE shells have a maximum damage of 1,700 with an 8% chance of setting fire. Armor-piercing shells have a maximum damage of 2,100. Torpedoes, you have 2 racks of 5 torpedoes each. They reload every 87.5 seconds. Maximum damage is 17,000 to 19. And this is with Deng Shishang adding a little bit more torpedo power punch there with his inspiration. Range is 10 kilometers. Torpedo speed is 66 knots. If you have Smogathon going, that will be 76 knots. So that is kind of potent if you can be within the range of an Allied when you're firing your torpedoes. AA defenses. This looks like a fair amount of guns, but I haven't noticed that I was particularly able to clear the sky in the Daring at this point. Maneuverability is 36 knots. Turning circle radius is 630 meters. Rudder shift time is 3.7 seconds. Concealment, detectability range by sea is 5.3 kilometers. Range by air is 2.9 kilometers. And while you're firing into smoke, and this is the most important part here, actually is 2.4 kilometers. Here's the armor view. Like I said, whatever you do, do not get hit. Overview. The destroyer is equipped with a repair party consumable. All right, it has a heal consumable, and the torpedoes can be launched one by one sequentially, and it does have a below average armor piercing shell penetration. It is inferior. So then the Daring class ships were the last of the largest British destroyers carrying torpedo tubes and artillery guns. Their main battery comprised of 114 millimeter guns mounted in enhanced dual-purpose turrets. Entered service in 1952, and there were 12 ships in the series. All right, well, that is why the ship is so potent. It was from 1952. And that's it for the setup of the ship and the commander. Let's go out in a standard battle and see if we can get some highlights. We're in Tears of the Desert, and we're in an epicenter match. 3 destroyers per side, a couple Shimikazes, and a Clever on the red team. And I'll be looking out for any radar that might pop up. I'm expecting the Ibuki and the Stalingrad may have radar. First has sonar. And then, of course, there's the Midway down there with the airplanes, which can spot the destroyers, and they are the bane of destroyers in a lot of matches. Right, so we're going to come around here on the left edge of the epicenter and basically look for any battleships that might be coming around the edge. And luckily with Perceptive, it does kind of give an indicator of where the red team ships are. I'm looking at the mini map, and my teammate destroyers are going into the epicenter, so we're squared away on capturing the epicenter. I'm going to patrol around the edges and, like I said, try to take care of any stray ships. You never know, you might run into a destroyer on the red team that's trying to do the same thing. And there is a ship in that direction over there where the Perceptive indicator is showing. I'm expecting that's probably a destroyer, since I can't see any battleships. And I'm taking a look at the torpedoes to see what it looks like through the gaps there. Alright, and here is a Shimakaze. Like I suspected, he is coming around the edge here. And with these quick reloading guns, we have no problem overpowering the Shimakaze gun versus gun. The traverse speed on my Shimakaze is not all that great, even with the upgrade in slot 1, which improves the traverse speed. And in any event, he did hit the smoke, and he really didn't want any part of a gun battle with the Daring. Probably the same thing for any American destroyer, or really British destroyer. Either one of those probably have superior gun power over a Japanese ship like the Shimakaze, so he is happy to stay in the smoke there. And you can see he did let out some torpedoes, and I think he's got another rack of torpedoes going in front of me right there in front. I think that is another rack of his torpedoes. But we're going to come around this island, and we're still going to keep an eye on that Shimakaze in the smoke screen over there. And that looks like the third rack of torpedoes from the Shimakaze. So he's got about a minute and a half before he reloads from when he fired off those torpedoes. So we might have half a minute or 45 seconds left. And here is over on my right hand side there is a blue battleship, which looks like he is rushing the epicenter, which may not be that great of a result for him. There he is right there. And there is a Kurfürst that looks like I can get some torpedoes going in the gap if I can get swung around, even though it did look like the aiming indicator on the torpedoes was going through the island already. And there is a Shimakaze that showed up, and this battleship is not really going to be around much longer because he will get blown out by the Shimakaze torpedoes. And there you see the aiming indicator for the torpedoes is behind the island already with the Kurfürst. So no luck, no joy on the torpedo launch against the Kurfürst. Yeah, that is no good. But I'm thinking about launching the torpedoes just before the island there. Hopefully that dead hulk of that blue team battleship will be gone by the time the torpedoes get there. But I launched those torpedoes hoping that that Kurfürst would slow up and not really go behind the island. And this Yamato doesn't really look like he's much of a risk, so I'm going to take some shots at him. I know that I do have a Shimakaze over to my left, the guy who was in that smoke screen over there, and we do get a hit on the Grosser Kurfürst. So he did slow up a little bit, as I expected, or as I hoped for. So now that I have the smoke screen between myself and the Yamato, I'm taking some shots, but I'm spotted by the airplane, so that is not working out so great for me, and I am getting peppered by just about every red team ship that can get an eyeball on me, it seems like. Right, so yeah, these smoke screens do, they do not last really all that long. So they're like 45 seconds here. some fancy maneuvering to get around these torpedoes. Yep, that Shimakaze is still over in that general area because he is launching all those torpedoes, but he still doesn't really want to get into a gun match with us. And I'm thinking about taking a shot at this first, while I'm careful not to trip into that one torpedo right there. And that first got blown away by my teammate. And here is this other Yamato here, which is only 4.5 kilometers away. So I'm going to slow up and hope that I could, well, gingerly get around this turn here without clobbering the island. And it looks like we're going to make it just barely, probably scraping some paint actually. And all right, we did make it around, only 4.5 kilometers away, but it looks like the aiming indicator is completely in the wrong spot, so he is moving away from us. And since his rear end is facing to us, I'm not going to launch the torpedoes, but I'm going to start hitting him with the main guns. We're up to 25,000 damage already on 38 main gun hits. One torpedo hit that we saw. We'll be getting a lot more torpedo hits later on in the match. Shoot down 2 more aircraft. So now we've got 7 aircraft shot down. So maybe the Daring does have some pretty good AA here. You know, I was wondering about that as we were talking during the setup. But it seems like the AA on the Daring is pretty good. And it looks like we stole the kill from one of my teammates, and we did get that Yamato. So we do have a destroyed ship, 38,000 damage and counting on that Yamato right there. You can see he's still counting up. We're going to take some more shots with these torpedoes, and I am spreading them out quite a bit. And this is why I'm not using the single fire, because I want a wider spread. In a lot of previous matches I was using single fire, and they're good if you can get bow on or if you get lucky, but here I'm not really sure if this Yamato is going to be speeding up or slowing down, so I wanted a wide spread. And you're going to see that we're going to get quite a few hits on this Yamato right here, so I don't think we'd be able to guarantee that with the single fire torpedoes. We did get 4 torpedo hits, and now we are up to 93,000 damage. We're up to 10 airplanes shot down, so we're halfway to a clear sky medal. We're up to 96,000 damage, 97,000. And that Yamato is counting. I'm almost expecting another destroyed ship here. And we are letting the smoke screen go again, so we are using up quite a bit of the smoke screens. And I didn't point this out previously, but the smoke screens do cool down and regenerate probably 10 to 15 seconds before the existing smoke screen disperses. So you can see up here in the upper left, well, wait a minute, gotta look at these torpedoes. So there, I waited until the last minute and I was able to avoid these torpedoes. So what I was going to say is the smoke screen has 13 seconds left, and you can see that the smoke screen, the next smoke screen is ready to go. So you do have 10 to 15 seconds between smoke screens here. So now what you're going to see in this last part of this video is the aircraft from the aircraft carrier is going to be a real problem, because I'm going to get spotted, and my 5,500 hit points of health may not be enough to last the match. But here's a clever, if I can get a lucky shot, he's really too far away to hope to get any kind of shot on him, any kind of a hit. If I could get a hit, I probably would take him out, but yeah, kind of rough at a 10-kilometer range, especially when that clever is moving around like that. So, and he's got no problem hitting me, so there you go. I've said it before, I'm not that great at gunboats here with the destroyers. I think I'm much better with the torpedoes. And now we're down to 2,600 health left, and he's still really nailing us, down to 2,300. And with that airplane spotting me, that is really helping out that clever quite a bit, I would imagine. So now I'm just maneuvering around
hoping to really avoid well, any damage I can. We're down to 695 hit points here. We almost are gonna time out with or point out with 1,000 points here on the epicenter, and looks like we're gonna survive the match, but just barely. We're down to 369 hit points. All right, the match is ended. It was a big time victory. 227,000 credits, 110,000 damage on 107 main gun hits, 5 torpedo hits, 14 airplanes shot down. So we will clear the sky with the Daring, I'm going to say. A destroyed ship, several fires, a bunch of floodings, 5 floodings for 5 torpedo hits. That is something to look forward to with the Daring. Let's see how we did on the team result. All right, well, second place overall, not bad for a first look. And by the time it was all said and done, we only made 63,000 credits. All right, well, that is it for a first look at the Daring. I hope you got to see a little bit about the ship and what it can do. Really quick main gun reloads, and the torpedoes are extremely potent. If you have Tyrwitt ranked up pretty well, you can get the Smogathon thing going, where your smoke screens will cool down before the existing smoke screen is up, and you can get like an 8-minute smoke screen. This is the Jaguar, and I'll see you on the high seas. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe if you like it.